Goeienaand, good evening fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. Now, we often on this channel talk about the boiling frog syndrome. You know, how you just heat the water up slowly. And there's another way of putting it, and it's called the slow war. What is a slow war? Well, let me tell you. The Urban Dictionary defines a slow war as a war that is only visible when the big pattern is revealed over time. If you could play the seemingly isolated events of a slow war in speeded up time, its real nature would be visible. A slow war is the opposite of a blitzkrieg, a war so slow that you hardly notice it, a war so slow that those waging it can deny that it is actually happening. Under the fog of war, they hide it as ordinary crime. Their end result is still the same as a blitzkrieg, total annihilation of the enemy. War has changed a lot over the last 100 years or so. We have seen chemical warfare in World War I, blitzkrieg in World War II, nuclear war, Cold War, People's War, to name but a few. The slow war is also a strategy of the USA against the world. Little steps at a time, ever coming closer to the goal of world domination. You see it on their war on drugs in South America, their involvement in Africa under AFRICOM, their military bases strewn all over Europe, etc. A microcosm of this is the slow war against whites in South Africa. If the whites were told 20 years ago that they would have to give 50% of their farms away to blacks, you probably would have had a war. If white South Africans were told 20 years ago that their Afrikaans schools and universities would be forced to become English and taken over by blacks, you would have had a war. If you told Afrikaners 20 years ago that their language would disappear from television, you would have had a war. If whites were told that they would be forced out of the civil service in their hundreds of thousands and replaced by incompetent blacks, you would have had a war. If you told whites 20 years ago that the names of all their towns and streets would be replaced with the names of Marxist terrorists, you would have had a war. If you killed 4,000 white farmers en masse 20 years ago and robbed, raped, tortured and murdered another 40,000 whites in their homes, you would have had a war. If you told whites 20 years ago that they would be handing their beautiful country over to incompetent, thieving Marxist scum who would steal their tax money in the billions, you would have had a war. Yet all of us, and a lot more, happened in the 20-year reign of the ANC. So where is the war? The war is one-sided, and it is waged by a tyrannical regime against a 10% minority of the population in South Africa, who is not fighting back because they cannot see the war. The most amazing part is that so many whites, mostly misanthropic liberals, refuse to acknowledge it. It is only a few right-thinking whites who are able to speed the events of the last 20 years up and see it for what it really is. The ultimate question is, how do you fight against such a slow war? I often get the other types of slow war deniers, those who say that, wait, when the time comes we will fight. At the moment there is no fight yet. Exactly when is that time? There are the ones who do not even realize what kind of war is being waged upon them. They have not made the paradigm shift yet. We are still expecting a Boer war on border war when the enemy has changed its tactics long ago. Whilst the quicksand slowly sucks them under, they wait for some event where the black hordes will descend upon the whites and murder them in their thousands, an event that might never come. Meanwhile, the slow war continues, and one day they will wake up, look out the windows and say, where have all the white South Africans gone? Good question. Please remember to subscribe to be kept informed. Ring the bell for the updates. Please like this video. Please share this video. And above all, please stay safe. Bye for now.